Springboks and the All Blacks. Arguably two of the greatest rugby teams in all time. The Springbok and All Black rivalry is the fiercest and most well-known of all time in the game of rugby. Yes, New Zealand probably have the upper hand. They've beaten us more often. They have a better overall rugby record, international record. So credit to you, New Zealand. You are the better team overall, but both South Africans and New Zealanders know that it doesn't get any bigger than the All Blacks against the Springboks. South Africa and New Zealand also hold the top two positions in the world rankings. South Africa at first and New Zealand at second. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be making a combined South Africa and New Zealand rugby team. This includes the current players, it doesn't include former players, retired players, and it only includes players that were in the World Cup squads. This wasn't an easy task. I mean, all the players in both teams are exceptional, world-class players. But let's take a look and see what we came up with. Enjoy. So let's start in the front row, loose head prop. The number one position has to go to Beast, Tendai Mtawarira. Even though Beast has ironically retired from international rugby, he is in the form of his life. He isn't only a brilliant scrummer, but he carries hard and he tackles hard. I don't think any prop in the world would choose to scrum against Beast. He has over 100 caps for the Springboks, and he's arguably one of the best props of all time, at least for the Springboks. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer, so let's move on to the next position. Number 2, hooker. It has to go to Codie Taylor. You see, the thing with South Africa is we're not 100% sure who our best hooker is at the moment. For now, it's Bongi. He's a great player. I mean, he's fantastic. He's really strong. He's solid in the mauls, solid in the lineouts, solid in the scrums. But he doesn't necessarily have that X factor. Malcolm Marx, we know he has that X factor. Malcolm Marx often changes the rhythm of a match with a brilliant steal out of nowhere. We know he can do that. He isn't in the best form at the moment, but he's a great player. Bongi, also a great player, but Codie Taylor has to take this spot. Codie Taylor is a very versatile player, passes well, he's good in the scrums, good in the lineouts, and he's a little bit more experienced than Bongi and Malcolm, so it has to go to him. Let's go to tight head prop, Frans Malherbe, also known as Fransie. Fransie is one of the most underrated players in world rugby. If you watch his game, he makes brilliant tackles. You don't see it, but he makes the hits. He is so reliable, so solid. He does get pretty tired quite quickly, which is maybe a little bit of a drawback. Overall, he's a fantastic player. He's very experienced, has a lot of caps, and he deserves the number 3 spot in my opinion. It's lock time. The number 4 position goes to Eben Etzebeth. I mean, who wouldn't want to have someone like Eben Etzebeth in their team? He is a giant of a man. He is extremely physical, good in the lineouts, good in the scrums. The other lock is Brodie Retallick. Brodie Retallick is quite comfortably one of the best players in the world at the moment. He is so disruptive to the opposition. I mean, he steals, he's brilliant in sacking in the lineouts. If you're watching the lineouts, he often does a turnover just by sacking. He's strong, physical. The only concern I have is I'm not sure if Eben Etzebeth and Brodie Retallick will have the best synergy with each other. I mean, we know from previous experience that they don't really get along. We have the tight 5 sorted, so let's move to the loose forwards. So it wasn't easy choosing the loose forwards. I mean, there's so many good loose forwards for South Africa and New Zealand. Sam Cane, Siya Kolisi, Frans Malherbe, there's so many. But the first position, number 6, has to go to Ardie Savea. Yes, Savea isn't really a blind side flanker, he's an open side flanker. But I mean, I couldn't not include him in the team. Ardie Savea, he's a great player. He plays very similarly to Pieter-Steph Du Toit. Speaking of Pieter-Steph Du Toit, he gets the number 7 spot. He is the best player in the world at the moment. He got the World Rugby Player of the Year. He's brilliant. I couldn't exclude either of these players. I mean, they're both so freaking good and they deserve to be in the team. Pieter-Steph Du Toit, he's amazing. He goes for 80 minutes at 110%. I mean, it looks like he's never tired. He is so fit, one of the fittest players I've ever seen. He's very similar to Skalkberg in the sense that he just wants to make every tackle. He wants to tackle you. The thing about Pieter-Steph Du Toit is he has a great rugby brain. Not only is he rough, tough, rugged, but he's a very clever player. Look at the try scored against New Zealand. I'm not going to put the footage up now, but the opening game of the World Cup for us against New Zealand, where he scored the try off the ruck, that was brilliant vision by him. Not many players can see that kind of opportunity. And that's just an example of how great Pieter-Steph Du Toit is, physically and mentally. Now we are on to 8th man. This was not easy. I mean, the two options we have here are Kieran Reid and Duane Vermeulen. Both are world-class players. Both actually deserve to play. I mean, if this was a real team, and if I was coaching this team, I mean, I would probably just be swapping between the two. But I'm going to be going for Duane Vermeulen. The reason for that is Duane Vermeulen is in great form. Kieran Reid, overall, in his career, is probably a better player than Duane Vermeulen. Duane Vermeulen has had ups and downs in his career. Yes, he's overall been a solid player, but Kieran Reid, just overall, in my opinion, is the better player. However, Duane Vermeulen in the World Cup final was amazing. Just shows he's in great form. I think he deserves this more. Kieran Reid of late, in my opinion, hasn't been the best. He has been better. Duane Vermeulen doesn't look like he's ever been better. Duane Vermeulen is a fetcher. We need a fetcher because Ardie Savea and Pieter-Steph Du Toit aren't specific fetchers. So Duane Vermeulen is the right guy in my opinion. He's a brilliant ball carrier, very strong, good leader. He's the right guy. Now to scrum half. Faf de Klerk or Aaron Smith. Tough decision again, but I'm going to go with Aaron Smith. Faf de Klerk is great. He's going to be remembered as an icon for South African rugby. He will always be remembered. Aaron Smith, the same for his country. I'm going to pick Aaron Smith just because he makes fewer mistakes. Faf de Klerk is more physical than Aaron Smith, but he makes quite a few mistakes. Often he kicks the ball poorly off the box kick. Aaron Smith makes very few mistakes. Aaron Smith probably has a better rugby brain. He has a good X factor. He can create something out of nothing. Fly half is going to Handre Pollard. Handre Pollard is great. He is a brilliant kicker. Yes, he does miss the occasional kick, but he can kick from the halfway line. He's great. He's got nerves of steel. We saw that in the World Cup. He's physical. He's a good tackler. He can break defensive lines like a knife through butter. The number 12 position is going to Damian De Allende. In the World Cup, he was outstanding. Guaranteed go forward ball. He's freaking brilliant on defense. I wouldn't want to run into him. He would smash me. He would smash 90% of people. Also, he could pass pretty well and make some good creative plays. He's a bit of a playmaker, or he's becoming more of a playmaker. He never really used to be that, but I think Rassie Erasmus and his coaching staff, such as Stick, they've really coached him well. Outside centre is going to Sonny Williams. Now I know Sonny Williams isn't actually the starting outside centre for the All Blacks, or he wasn't really in the World Cup. The reason I've chosen him in this team is because I so badly want to see him in a combination with Cheslin Kolbe. Speaking of Cheslin Kolbe, he will be taking the wing at number 14. Just imagine Cheslin Kolbe and Sonny Williams. Amazing. I would love to see it. I can just imagine Sonny Williams passing one of his beautiful passes to Cheslin Kolbe on the wing. Cheslin Kolbe doing his magic step thing, scoring a brilliant try. I just think they would be great together. So that's more of a combination move. Goodhue, New Zealand player, really good as well. He probably deserved the spot as well. Lucanio Ami's great, brilliant form. But I'm going to give it to Sonny Williams just because I think it would be cool to see him and Cheslin Kolbe together. Then at the other wing is Makazole Mapimpi. Now he didn't have the best start to the World Cup campaign. To be honest, I was pretty concerned to see how he defended against New Zealand. I don't mean to criticize him at all, or any other players. All of them are great, much better than I could ever imagine myself to be. But Mapimpi did make quite a few mistakes in that first game against New Zealand. The one costed the try. But throughout the tournament, he improved so much, especially on his defense. He's great with the ball in hand. Just looking at that try against Japan that he scored in the opening couple of minutes of the game, he's so good. He's also another player who can create something out of nothing. Then at fullback, the last position, we're going with Beauden Barrett. I think that's quite a giveaway. For me personally, I think Barrett is better at fly half, but it wasn't too difficult deciding between him and Leroux. A lot of people give Leroux a lot of criticism, but they don't see what a great player he actually is. He does make some mistakes sometimes, but he's really a general in the back line. He's good on defense. He's a great player. There's a saying that goes around in South Africa that Willie Leroux either wins a game for you or loses a game for you. When Willie Leroux is at his best, he's one of the best players in the world. He is amazing when he's at his best. He's probably as good as Beauden Barrett when he's at his best. Beauden Barrett is more consistent. He's very good every single game. Beauden Barrett, yet another player who can create something out of nothing. Willie Leroux can also do that, but I'd feel a little bit more comfortable having Beauden Barrett at the back of my back line. And that is it, guys. We're not doing reserves, we're just doing the starting lineup. Please let us know your opinion. Who do you think should have been in the starting lineup that wasn't there? Please let us know. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.